there is something that I think it's a bit similar to things like this. When they know that a book contains truth, they price it so high so that average people like me and you won't afford to just go spend $500 on a book, just a book. Right? That is where they hide most of the truth of this world. They hide it in a book and make it so high. The cost to be so high that you can't just ordinarily acquire it. So let's get to see something here.
It's history,
right
not hate.
Book, the Picture History of Jewish Civilization. Now, this video is not intended for hate or hate speech. I'm just showing pictures. That is all. Okay. And I bought this book used. Apparently, the previous owner had it in 1971. Jewish sources. Right here in the contents, we have Hebrews in the biblical period, Babylon, and so forth. This is quite interesting. Number 6, an independent Jewish kingdom in Central Asia. And we have the Khazars. Okay. Now let's look at what the Hebrews of that time period looked like. As you can see, a Semitic person of color, Semitic prisoner painted on terracotta. Okay. As we can see, 2 Semitic Hebrew or Israelite women. You can see the hoop earring, the nose, the broad lips, etc. Woman of color. As we can see, a man with an afro, whatnot. Okay, people of color. Same thing over here. People of color with the afros doing their task and whatnot. Right here we have the Pharaoh. The Egyptians became familiar with a horse and wagon after the victory of the Hyksos in the beginning of the long period, 1730 through 1580 BCE, the rule of the Asiatic peoples of the land of the pharaohs. Okay. You see that? Same thing right here. Now let's skip a couple pages and look at, I thought this picture was quite interesting as well. Okay. As we can see, here's a Israelite or Hebrew. And when we zoom in, we can look at his features. You see we got the woolly, kinky hair, the beard, and so forth. Same thing over here as well. So, that's all I wanted to share. No hate.
The press, stop it. Look at Putin. Putin is showing who the Negroes are. When you go into Russia, they never took our murals down. These murals are from the Black Russian Archives Church that you can see when you go to YouTube. Putin was showing the world who we are. He wanted everybody to see it. But if you notice, the American cameras, they took the camera and they dropped it. When you go through all of Europe, all of France, all of Germany, all of Italy, all of Russia, all of the European nations and the Americas, you're going to find out something. That this so-called Negroes or Moors only mean that you're black. Moors ran everything, and a lot of these Moors were Jews. Some were Sephardic Jews, and some of them were other type of Jews. But these Jews or Israelites ran what you would call the European nations. That's why when you go into Germany, they find bodies that are thousands of years old, and these bodies are so-called Moors. And when they go into Britain, Britain just means sons of Isaac. That's exactly what it means. Britain, when you get a lot of these names as Johnson, McKeever and McDowell, you would think that these names were actually European. But you got to remember, these people were in the Caucasus Mountains. They didn't even speak English. These so-called Negroes and Moors taught them English, and when they came in later in the 19th century, they basically took over all of Britain, France, Germany from the 11th century. After the 19th century, they took over everything. And what they did, they came through and they whitewashed everything. So I'm showing you pictures of the ancient nobles here right now as we speak. As a matter of fact, there's a picture here of the painting by Michelangelo, and it's in the Sixtine Chapel, and it's of Joseph and Jacob. Here's another one of Moors fighting what they call wild men. And here's a picture of Robert Pufus by Jean Farkas, or king. He was a king in Britain. And here are coats of arms. These are different nations of Britain, of different people who are Moors. Now, look here, the Holy Roman Emperor, Charles V. Isn't this something, folks? But get this. Look at what we call Columbus. He was a Sephardic Jew. That's why he had to come here, because no one else could.
In the ancient synagogue that's been restructured and rebuilt, here lies the truth that many seek after. Inside this restored synagogue, there are pictures everywhere. Historical evidence is right before my eyes. This extraordinary building has much to be desired. Here inside the synagogue, known as the synagogue of Hamim Pinto, you find some very interesting pictures of the Jews of Magador. Upon closer examination of the four pictures, it is clear to see that the Moroccan Jews of the past were highly melanated beings. Here we see black Jews walking through the Medina. Below we see these same dark-skinned Israelites at the Bab el-Masa in Magador, which was built in 1769 during the reign of Mohammed bin Abdullah as part of the reconstruction of the fortification of the city. As you can see, there is an engraved inscription above the arch as to when and who constructed this forted gate. In this recent picture of the same door, a close and more detailed inscription can be seen. This picture isn't quite as clear. However, the fourth picture clearly depicts these ancient Israelites who lived in the Medina as melanated people. Wanting to understand more about the pictures, I asked the Guardian, who was unwilling to go on camera, to inform me of what these pictures represent. These were his words.
Is Muslim Jewish together.
Muslim Jewish together.
That's avant la Deuxième Guerre.
I was not at all surprised by the Guardian statement. From a Quranic point of view, the term Muslim, meaning one who submits, predates Muhammad. It was time to explore the rooms. In the corner, there was another picture of these black Jews at the Bab el-Masa, and an even more fascinating one on the wall in this dark room.
Anyway, I hope you got the message. Now you've seen the reason why that book is so pricey. You see the reason why. And like I was saying, it's not gonna be an everyday person that will just go get a book for $500. You would think about what you're going to use that money for. Just a book. Why should I spend such amount of money to go get a book like that? And that is the reason why the prices were raised to that level, so that we would be kept out of the truth. Not just this the Jewish civilization and the rest of them. There are other books that explains very well in total about most of these things that seem to be confusing, but the price is so high that you cannot afford it. These things are done deliberately. You can't tell me it's just done or just that is how it should be. No, they know why they do these things, to keep the truth far away from those who should know the truth. And this is what they've been doing for ages past, and this is what gave them the right to whitewash everything. So the book that should have left in common for everybody to purchase and study are books that they have whitewashed. But the original ones, right, they prevent it from circulating and put it in a place where you can't even get there. And when you get there, you see the price, you tell yourself, oh, let me scroll through. I can't spend such money on a book. How much is my salary? This is the aim. This is the aim, to just discourage us from getting to what we should get to. And the painful thing is that a lot of us will see this thing as, no, it's nothing, right? We see this thing as it's nothing. But these people have a plan. It's not just done, like, they have a plan. They know what they're doing, sweetheart. They know what they are doing.